YouTube! Today we're going to be reacting to the 2021 Tri-State Tornado. This video here is by Tornado TRX. We've all come to know him very well. We've reacted to several of his videos, and I know that several, if not most of you, have watched him. So let's check out this tornado. Supposedly it had a 0% above ground survival rate. That's very daunting. Jesus.
It's the middle of the night in December, and a monstrous tornado is heading straight for the Mississippi River. Douglas Lewis, a crewmate aboard a tugboat in the river, receives an alert on his phone. There's a tornado heading straight for him. Stranded on the boat, he does the only thing he can do and begins to video the dark mass approaching him. Soon, he runs to the bottom floor before the boat is swallowed by the winds.
My
December
goodness.
has arrived in the United States, in Monette, Arkansas.
I'd have put that thing in reverse and we would have been going up the Mississippi River.
The temperature peaks at a chilly 45 degrees Fahrenheit, suggesting a typical winter season in the upcoming days. But this is far from what weather forecasters see. Meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center have noted an unusual characteristic in the atmosphere. The temperature was expected to be unusually warm in the coming days. Moist air, combined with strong winds through levels of the atmosphere, allows for possible thunderstorms throughout the Mid-South on December 10th. As the day draws closer, forecasters begin to get a clearer picture from weather models of what is about to unfold, and it's incredibly strange. What they're now seeing is a weather pattern that could potentially become a tornado outbreak, and so they begin to issue warnings for the public. But for many in the area, there are few signs that anything is about to happen.
Yo, W weather team there, they're getting the warnings out early. They're letting the public know. But this is something right here that can be very, very deceiving. There's nothing worse than when there's a day that looks like this. You got clear blue skies, hardly any clouds in sight, nothing that would give a singular hint that there's a tornado or a series of bad storms heading your way that could produce a tornado. Dude, that's so scary. You know, you like, even if you get that warning, you look at it like, hey man, we had the chance for tornadoes, severe storms, and people walk outside and they see a clear blue sky. So deceitful, man. Recipe for disaster.
Seemed like an unusually warm day was approaching, December 10th. It wasn't until the sun had begun to set.
Wait, was this another
developing?
Another December tornado? Wait a minute. Another one. Was this part of the outbreak from that storm? Wait, was this part of the Mayfield tornado type deal? Does anybody know?
Over Little Rock, Arkansas at 4 p.m. It needs time to organize. The elongated structure signals that it's ready to spin and become a supercell, and it continues to build its strength.
No way, I gotta know. I think, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this was December 10th, 2021. Was this the tornado that also traveled through Mayfield, Kentucky? What if this was the Tri-State tornado? But I also thought the Mayfield one was a quad state. Didn't it go through 4 states?
Until it's ready to unleash its fury. At 5:50 p.m., meteorologists observing radar note strong rotation in the storm, prompting them to issue the first tornado warning. At 6:40 p.m., the storm produces its first weak tornado of many just south of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Although very short-lived, it wouldn't be long until it produced another tornado, and then another at the same time. These twin tornadoes were unfortunately not the most prolific thing the storm would come up with. A couple dozen miles to the northeast, where the storm was moving, Environmental conditions, such as CAPE, or the available energy in the atmosphere, in the shear, or the spin in the atmosphere, was conducive for extreme tornadoes, and this is right where the supercell was going. Unfortunately,
goodness,
it was
boys.
the next tornado that would land the storm in the history books. At 7:07 p.m., a funnel descends just north of the town of Bay, Arkansas. The tornado is weak at first, partially destroys a farm
Alright, so First State, Arkansas, right here.
building as it crosses into Lake City, Arkansas, and continues to race to the northeast. Hunter Fike is at his parents' shop. What he sees seems to be an almost tiny
Oh,
string
yeah, almost
carrying
like a
the
little
ground
rope
in front of him.
tornado. Oh, yeah. Hey, something we learned, boys. You know, when it comes to tornadoes, size doesn't always tell the whole story. It doesn't always tell the whole story. Yeah, look at that tornado we watched in Canada. I mean, relatively small, but was able to produce F5 damage.
Nearby, Josh Taylor continues where Hunter left off. The tornado now has an apparent stovepipe shape, much thicker than previously.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
There's definitely a tornado on the ground.
it's getting large.
It's definitely on the ground. Oh yeah, it's big.
Only a couple minutes after Hunter's video was shot, the tornado clearly has a lot of energy and it's growing rapidly.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Oh yeah.
In the town of Monette, few people are aware of the impending danger heading straight for them. One of these oblivious areas is the nursing home north of town, which is now sitting directly
Monet
in the
Manor?
path. At 7:20 p.m., a phone call is received by employees at the nursing home. The owner, Rick Sampson, calls in a panic, stating a tornado was on the way and that everyone needed to get to a safe space immediately. Nurse Barbara Richards glances out of the door and sees a dark mass beelining straight for her. She ducks down and yells for everyone to cover up.
Wait, was they not warned? Was this place not warned? The only way they found out was through the phone call from the owner?
Before she can even complete her sentence, the winds explode and the roof and walls collapse. As soon as the winds arrive, however, they stop. Immediately, sirens from emergency services can be heard driving down the road, and as EMS crews evacuate the structure, they find the body of Golden West Pembry, the first death attributed to the tornado. There's
R.I.P.
little reprieve before the next town is subjected to the tornado's increasing power. The town of Leachville now only has 5 minutes before it too is struck. On the north side of town, a dollar store is still open. June Pennington, the store's assistant manager, and another much younger employee watch the tornado approach. Seeing the dark gray clouds, they rush into the store's bathroom. As the winds whip around the building, the anchored steel frame is warped and twisted out of its foundation, leading to the collapse of most of the structure. Pennington lies on top of her coworker to protect them as the wall caves in on top of them. In the chaos, June Pennington passes away, miraculously saving the
R.I.P.,
life
dude.
of her young coworker. Teenager Kelsey
Yo, brave woman, man. She was helping taking care of the younger. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it looked like a drawing of a girl. It looked like she was just trying to protect that young girl, dude. That's so sad. Just trying to do the right thing, trying to be a good person and help someone, offer protection to a much younger person, and to pass away like that. It's just so sad. But what a brave woman, man. You know, in such such a scary time, to offer protection to someone else and put yourself in harm's way. Wow.
is filming from back in Truman, where the tornado initially touched down, but due to the flat farmland, the large wedge tornado is still visible.
Oh my goodness. How big did this tornado
Near the dollar
get?
store, several other warehouses and residential homes suffer extreme damage, with some well-built structures flattened. One of the warehouses is a large cotton gin. As the vortex crosses over, thousands of pounds of cotton bales are shredded, a relatively strange sight. The tornado is clearly still intensifying. It's now crossing the Arkansas-Missouri border, and more towns are in the firing line, with the tornado heading straight toward the town of Hornersville. Lines of trees now are shredded by the winds. They lose their bark and their branches until they're basically reduced to not much more than large toothpicks. This tree damage is unbelievably violent. Fortunately, the storm switched just south of Hornersville, sparing many homes and lives from destruction, but other people wouldn't be as lucky. Storm chaser Max Olson is now approaching from the north, taking note of the very strong radar signature now present on the tornado.
Yo, Max Olson's everywhere, huh? It seems like most of these storms, you see his name pop up.
Taking exit 14 to the east, he sees the beast in the distance, now approaching the town of Braggadocio.
I've been able to see something there. It's insane positive CGs. Based on the radar trajectory at that time, it looked like the tornado was probably going to go pretty much right to where I was at or just a little bit north, and I was just straining my eyes on the horizon as CGs were just raining down around me. And then finally there was this moment where I saw this giant power flash. Oh, what was that? Oh, I think I see it. Yep, that's it. Power flash. Just observed.
Oh, that thing's, it's a monster.
I can see it off in the distance. It's a big stovepipe, maybe wedge.
In the town, only a handful of residents are even aware of the approaching monster. The tornado continues to grow in strength, however, shredding.
Well, was this due to just being late at night? You know, people are sleeping and don't know? Or were people just not properly warned?
Massive metal transmission towers until they collapse, whilst several homes are reduced to no more than piles of debris. The winds in the tornado continue to rise as the tornado closes in on the homestead of the Rackley family. The Rackleys had moved to the home just a week prior. Mom, Megan, a teacher, identified the safest possible place in the home, the center bathroom with no windows. While watching the news, they decided to heed the tornado warning and went into their safe place.
So they did have a
Storm is
warning.
15 minutes away, and the family poses for a photo. The close-knit siblings, Aniston, age 9, Evelyn, 7, and Lainey, only 3, smile. Aniston clutches her favorite baby doll as she lies in the bathtub.
Dude, this is going to be bad. I can feel it.
Everything the family was doing was correct, but unfortunately, this is not always enough. The dad, Trey Rackley, begins to hear the sound of winds accelerating around the home. Loud banging begins to echo as debris spews across the home from the neighboring towns. Soon, the banging turns to screeching as metal and wood is ripped and shredded. The tornado is about to make a direct hit on the Rackley family home. Max Olson is still watching the beast draw closer.
Oh, look at that subvortice. This thing's a monster.
And as the Rackley Street is crossed, a power flash, indicative of power lines being destroyed, illuminates the vortex.
Woo!
The Rackley's home, unfortunately, cannot resist the strength of the tornado. The home is
That's
shredded
bright.
by the winds and then swept down to its bare foundation. Debris is granulated and tossed across open fields nearby. The Rackleys are launched along with the debris into a nearby field. Unfortunately, the oldest daughter, Aniston, is unable to withstand her injuries and passes away. Aniston was described by family as a bright light. She loved swimming, dancing, and cheerleading. Across the road, a second home is
I could have went the rest of my life without hearing that particular story.
swept away. Fortunately, no one is home when it struck, but the damage here could be even stronger than at the Rackley's home. The tornado is actually the strongest it's ever been and begins to carve spirals into the ground, showing the vortex behavior itself. Max begins to book it north as the now mind-blowing wedge tornado crosses the interstate. Its eyes are directly on Hayti, Missouri.
Not a good situation. It's moving right into town here. Haiti. I slowly just inched my way north towards the town of Hayti as this tornado was marching towards the interstate. Dude, chill out right here.
He's trying to let those people know, man.
That guy needs to not go any further forward. All right, it's crossing in front of me. Yes, I know. All right, it's crossing in front of me.
Dude, is it
Two
already
other
went
storm
across?
chasers, Brad Arnold and Nick Gorman, are up ahead of Max and film the tornado as it crosses the interstate.
Go backwards now. I can go backwards up the ramp. But... No, you're good.
It's right there in front of us.
Ship, right ship cross right here.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, I saw a power flash.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Tornado
You're right
crossing
on the screen.
I-55.
Yeah, there it is.
Right there.
Got it.
Right there.
Wow.
Unfortunately, they are also catching the next tragedy on film. Just to the east, truck driver George Martin is unknowingly driving into the path of the tornado as the winds begin to sweep across Interstate 55. Martin's truck is swept off the road, critically injuring him. He would die a week later. Only a couple miles to the east, neither
R.I.P.
28-year-old Mark Travis nor his girlfriend Leanne know that they are driving directly into the path of the tornado. As they drive down Highway 84, the heavy rain and darkness completely obscures the tornado from view, meaning they are only alerted to the danger when violent winds suddenly sweep across the road. A utility pole is suddenly thrown down in front of them, leaving no time to slow down, resulting in a high-speed collision. In the crash, Leanne is extremely injured, and Mark is unfortunately fatally injured. Max,
R.I.P.
now crossing the tornado's path, comes face to face with the reality of what's happening as he finds multiple semi-trucks flipped with several injuries.
Another semi. Oh, God. God damn it.
Right here. That's cable barrier. It's just cable barrier. He's crawling out.
Wait, here.
Hey! Get in! Right here? Huh? You want to get in here? Here, hop out. See if it's okay. Hey! Get in!
To the west of I-55, the violence of winds gouges even more, swirling cycloidal marks into the nearby fields. The path these patterns take show how the tornado narrowly misses Hayti to the south, approaching the Mississippi River north of Crothersville. Factory lights from a warehouse along the riverbank illuminate the wedge, briefly displaying its violent motion as Max frantically zooms tighter.
It was around this time that the tornado was approaching the Mississippi River, and this is when that large light was able to illuminate the funnel to where you could truly see the violent motion, as if it already wasn't prevalent enough before with the continuous lightning.
Oh,
now
wow.
it was just so vivid. You could very clearly see how intense this thing was, and it was just churning its way off in the distance.
Look at it, dude. Look at that rotation. What a beast.
Melissa Copeland and her husband see the tornado in the distance from across the river and begin a Facebook Live to alert neighbors and family of what they're seeing in the distance.
He said it's going north.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know if y'all can see that on video, but we were heading back home from being at someone's house for shelter, and
Hey, at least they're letting their friends
seen
know.
a tornado. There was a bunch of people parked at the overpass, and then there was another funnel cloud forming as well. This is towards Crothersville around Great River Road.
There's another one.
I don't know if y'all can see this or not when the lightning strikes.
The tornado is still obscenely violent. Douglas Lewis, a crewmate aboard a tugboat on the Mississippi, notices a dark mass approaching. Simultaneously, the emergency alert system blares that a tornado emergency, the rarest tornado warning possible, has been issued, and those in the path
Get that
need
boat
to
in
take
reverse,
immediate
baby.
shelter. However, there is virtually no shelter on a boat stranded in the Mississippi River. With no other option, Douglas just films the wall of death approaching them.
Supposed to cross the river right here where we're at. I think that's it. So we got a front row seat, that's for damn sure. By the river.
Bam, there it comes, dude.
As it draws closer, he ducks below deck with the rest of his crewmates. winds batter the tugboat, but in some miracle, everyone on board survives. An anemometer on board recorded a wind gust of 121 miles per hour as the boat narrowly avoided being destroyed. To the north, another crewmate, Keith Fowler, also filmed a large tornado approaching.
So what, he just got like the outer winds of the tornado? Either way, 120 miles per hour? Ain't no joke, dude.
Oh.
To the south, a different tugboat is capturing something else because the tornado is so close. The boat's onboard radar, typically used for navigation, is actually scanning the tornado's funnel. The radar scan shows an incredible spiral of rain circling the vortex, with a defined eye at the center. This is the exact moment the tornado is now crossing into Tennessee, officially making the tornado a tri-state tornado, one of only a few tornadoes to ever achieve this feat in recorded history. The tornado crosses the meandering river, jumping between Missouri and Tennessee until it makes landfall on the Tennessee side of the river after 8 whole miles of travel, beelining straight for the south edge of Campbell's Point, a town south of Tiptonville. Another disaster is coming into fruition. The tornado scrapes the south edge of town, with its wind field ripping roofs and injuring multiple people. But for the people staying at the large Blue Ridge hunting resort, the tornado does anything but scrape it. Jamie Antonio Hall, brother-in-law Steve Gunn, and Steve's son Grayson are in a group of 8 people who have traveled from Florida to the resort for a duck hunting trip. As night arrives, the 3 of them return to the top floor of their hotel to get some sleep. The rest of the family goes to stay in the resort's clubhouse. But as the tornado approaches, those in the clubhouse are able to rush into a bathroom stall in the bottom floor. As the tornado sweeps through the resort, the clubhouse is demolished, with only the bathroom stall that the 5 people are
Wow. Absolute destruction.
sheltering and standing at the resort. The 3 men are oblivious to the danger until they're awoken by the sound of the roof giving way. In just seconds, the hotel is gutted, whilst nearby trees are debarked.
Oh my God.
And reduced to stubs. The cabin that Jamie, Steve, and Grayson are in feels the worst of the impact. The entire top story is shredded away. All 3 men would be found deceased in the rubble. The tornado is now growing smaller, but that doesn't stop the now record-breaking path length. It crosses the Blue Basin Lake into Samsburg. On the south side of town, many poorly constructed homes collapse, with some reduced to nothing. In one home, 72-year-old Danny Inman Sr. does not make it as his home collapses onto him. The tornado moves into the heart of Samsburg, where the fire department is struck. A group of firefighters are pinned under debris as the structure collapses around them, rendering them unable to respond to victims in Samsburg and in the Blue Ridge Resort. The police department and City Hall are also severely damaged, along with 25% of all buildings in the town. Miraculously, no one else dies in town. Barely 2 miles after the tornado exits Samsburg, the tornado suddenly weakens and dies. The monster is done, but the impacts are not. While somehow narrowly missing the center of over 7 communities, 9 lives had been lost, and hundreds of structures had been
So what we got? Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee, right?
destroyed, being the lesser-known sibling of the subsequent Mayfield tornado. Many of the homes and people affected by the tornado never got the attention or aid that they really needed, even though the intensity and the duration of the tornado was mind-blowing. This is the case with many of the other tornadoes during the December 10th, 2021 tornado outbreak, highlighting.
So this was part of the 2010 tornado outbreak, you know, around the time period of Mayfield and all that. Holy, dude. How many... This produced some strong tornadoes that winter. This tornado here was insane. Big, fairly fast moving, strong winds. Went through three states, destroying towns. That poor nursing home, man. And I could go the rest of my life without ever knowing that story with the school teacher and the kids. And, like, jeez, man. Yeah, I don't know how others are. Like, I hate to hear of anyone getting hurt. But boys, there's just something about it. Like, when it happens to a kid, that's just like, man. It just makes me sick. It makes me sick. Yeah, man. What can you say even anymore? After watching all these tornadoes and stuff. Like, what do you say? It's just so sad. We need to find some happy stuff. We gotta find some happy stuff, man. But yeah, guys, hey, Tornado TRX. I'm gonna have a link to this video and his channel in the description below. Check him out. He honestly, he has some of my favorite tornado videos out there. He does a really good job of putting these together, so we appreciate him and want to show him some love. So check out his channel. Check out this video. Hit that like button. But with that said, I am Cheap. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like and subscribe button. We'll catch you in the next one.